someone, build me a particular aircraft, but you must always ensure that the parts are from South Africa. Some of the material that will be used in that aircraft is from South Africa. Yeah. Some of the stuff is assembled in South Africa. Here we're talking about local industries benefiting. We're talking about, we're faced with a jobless situation in the country. We're talking about more jobs being created for South Africa as well. They did also talk about the various economic scenarios were created. They used certain models to project that if these jobs are not realized, if there is a rise in interest rates, what will be the ultimate impact? We are getting a sense that as early as 1999, there were warning bells that were sounded that this thing might not work as expected.
Yeah. Another delay again this week. It seems that this commission's been beset with delays and postponements and so forth. What do we make about the allegations that this week again exposed the flaws within this commission, and it will be difficult for this commission to come to any sort of meaningful conclusions?
What we're seeing happening here, the so-called arms deal critics or the whistleblowers, they want this commission to get to the point.
Yeah.
They want to know Njanji Chauke benefited so much, he took so much money, he bought a particular car. What's going to happen to Njanji Chauke? So what we saw, the lawyers for human rights who are representing Andrew Feinstein, Paul Holden, as well as Henny van Vuren, they're saying make available those contracts to the commission. They need to be divulged. South African government entered with various into agreement with various arms suppliers, but now the whistleblowers, they want to see those contracts and they want to see what were the conditions and terms of those contracts. They want to get to the nitty-gritties of this arms deal.
I think the entire country are sort of at the end of the tether with us. They would like to see this thing concluded. But now next week when we restart, how do you see the week play out? What can we expect next week?
The former Trade and Industry Minister has been excused from the commission. It might be recalled at a later stage as soon as the various legal teams sort out the issue of the contracts, whether the contracts should remain top secret documents or they can be made available in order that the Security Commission of Inquiry can have closure, and also the average taxpayer on the street can really know what really happened. So next week we are likely to see a gentleman called Fritz Norkia. He was a man who was in charge of Project Citron related to the acquisition of the corvettes or the so-called warships. And then he will be taking the stand again. This is in the lead up to the possible cross-examination by one of the losing bidders from Cape Town, Richard Young of C squared, I squared, who's apparently this gentleman has documents that the commission doesn't even have. So the evidence leaders have also sounded alarm bells that they are really concerned. They might be seen not to be doing their job. You know.
Well, it's going to be another interesting week. But let's hope that it picks up a bit of pace now and that the resolutions come quick and fast, because I think the country is really waiting. But thank you for joining us this morning.
Okay, thank you.
Njanji Chauke, of course, right on top of the Security Commission of Inquiry that's, well, going to restart on Monday. And you can watch this platform where Njanji will keep you updated what happened with the 1999 arms deal in this country. Of course, time now for us to take a quick look on social media. What are you thinking about? Bulelani Guwa says, President Jacob Zuma spoke so well today in his reply to the SONA debate. He indeed told a good story of a triumphant South Africa. Vilma Nieuwhout says, President Zuma giving good response to the SONA debate. Lots of support for the president today on social media. President Zuma's post-SONA debate response is encouraging, hopeful, conciliatory, balanced, and is giving me goosebumps. Maibuye I Africa. That's what we like to hear. Amanda, good on you, my dear. Bo Mindwane says, Zuma has not once referred to Mazibuko in his SONA debate response, as referred to lots of DA members' inputs. Why would you, as the president, refer to Lindiwe Mazibuko in your SONA debate response, I would think? That's a difficult question. at SABC Newsroom is where you can send your contributions, you can send your comments, even controversial as they might be, or in this case, support for the president, for a very conciliatory message and a positive story. At SABC Newsroom, sabc.co.za/news. That's where you can get all the updates all the time. After the break, well, we look at the controversy surrounding fishing quotas here in South Africa. This is Newsroom on SABC News.
Gaming enthusiasts, including us here at Network, indulged in over 80 exhibits that included the Xbox One and Nintendo. Visitors also got to try out PlayStation 4 computer entertainment system, which was unveiled at Rage 2013.
I just came here to see the Xbox One and the PS4, see which one I'd buy.
If you have close to 400,000 Rand to spare, then you can buy the new UHD TV set. Samsung has launched cheaper models, but cheaper doesn't necessarily mean cheap. South Africa has just received the country's first surgical robot, but the robot isn't quite taking over from your surgeon just yet.
That's Network, Sundays, 7:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Bulem Mulebati. In today's episode, we give a whole new definition to the popular saying, dynamite comes in small packages.
Uthembaletu, he is very passionate, he's very outgoing, he's very smart, he's very wise. I'd love to have kids, beautiful wife, loving family, beautiful empire.
Join us again next week as we bring you stories of change makers, hope and courage.
Welcome back. Your Newsroom here on SABC News. The South African Commercial Line Fishing Association have sought an urgent interdict against the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries after its allocation of permits left many without licenses to fish. Today is the deadline for fishermen who have not been granted permits to lodge their appeal. Of the 3,490 applications, only about 600 led to rights being granted. And of the 1,556 applications for traditional lionfish, only 215 succeeded. Many who failed to get rights are well-established fishermen who no longer now have a livelihood. The chairman of the South African Commercial Lionfish Association, Wally Kroom, joins us from Cape Town. Good morning, Mr. Kroom. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure.
Tell us about the levels of anger amongst your members after the allocation of the fishing rights.
Our New Year's Eve was badly spoiled by the department by allocating the rights, and that was the first we knew how many people was actually awarded rights and what the level of damage was done to the industry. People that held rights previously are now sitting without rights at all.
Tell us about the despondency amongst your members. I heard that people were so badly affected, some members, they even attempted suicide. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. It's accurate. I don't believe people really understand what this has done to the people in the fishing industry. People that have fished for 30, 40 years of their lives, have done no other form of work, are now suddenly being told, you can't fish anymore, you're not going to have an income. And these same people have made investments worth 400,000 to 700,000 Rand. They're going to be stuck with these investments.
Tell us about the lifeline that now seems to have been granted by the department. Are you guys going to en masse take up this right to appeal and take advantage of maybe sorting out a scenario going forward?
The lifeline you're talking about is an exemption that was issued by the department after we approached them on the 7th of January. They allowed us to fish until the end of this month. And after that, the exemption falls away and we go back to the status quo as it was in the first week of January. Of the 303 people that were actively fishing on the 30th of December, only 115 were awarded fishing rights. What the department has done, they've issued another 100 new entrants. These new entrants are coming in without boats. They've got other jobs. They've got quotas in other sectors. And they are replacing people that have fished all their lives, that have made major investments in the sector. And that is what has nailed us, and that is what doesn't make sense to us.
Are you saying that there's a possibility of corruption that needs to be investigated in the awarding of these contracts?
Definitely. There are many awards. We have been asking the department for the last month and a half to give us a list of the new entrants that came into the industry, tell us what boats they've nominated and where they stay. By identifying where they stay, we can actually give the department a lot of feedback on their known involvement in the industry. And no such lists have been forthcoming.
That is very worrying indeed, Mr. Kroom. Now tell us about what your members are saying. If they find no joy, if they are not allowed to fish, to earn their daily bread as they have for the last X amount of years, what are their response? Are they talking about poaching and taking the things into their own hands?
No, the initial reaction was exactly that, and that's not the way forward. I don't believe in blocking the N1 and stuff like that. I believe that through a process of negotiation we can take this forward. I still believe that we can do that if the department speaks to us openly and genuinely. There are answers to the problems. We just need to sit down and actually discuss them. We tried that last week. 2 weeks ago, a document was served on the department through our legal team asking for more information to enable us to do our appeals properly. This information was ignored. We've taken this further. Monday morning, we're applying to the High Court for an interdict against the department, asking for an extension on the exemption that was given to us, and also to force the department to give us more information on how we were scored. We don't know at this stage. The fact that we've been asked to appeal, but on what do we appeal? If you're not given reasons why you didn't get it right, you are unable to appeal objectively. And that is the issue that we have with the department at the moment. The deadline is today. We are actually putting in a protest appeal because we formally cannot appeal. If you're not given the reasons, you cannot appeal objectively.
Mr. Kroom, finally, you've got 30 seconds to tell us what do you see as a sustainable solution going forward?
All we want out of this is that the people that rely on fishing for a livelihood be put back on the sea. I don't think that's too difficult to do. What I have seen is a lot of corruption, a lot of people being awarded rights because of party political affiliations, and a lot of people have misrepresented themselves on the application forms. We just need an opportunity to work with the department to sort this out, and I believe we can put a lot of the people back in this industry again.
Mr. Kroom, thank you for joining us. We hope that, today's deadline meets with some joy for those members. Of course, some fishermen have attempted suicide after losing their fishing licenses, and some of these men claim to have been on the waters for more than 30 years, and they are now without a livelihood, which is very worrying indeed. Time now for us, to change gears a little bit, shift a little bit of focus, and look at the wonderful world of sport, as we do every Friday here on the Newsroom show. And big cricket going on at the moment here in South Africa. Nedbank Cup has been launched. There's World Golf. Our golfers are doing well. And I'm joined by Sifiso Ramada to give us a little bit of an insight as to what's ahead for the weekend and what we can expect. Cricket seems to be at the order of the day. Good morning.
Good morning, Eben, and morning to the viewers.
Sifiso, cricket seems to be the order of the day. It looks like South Africa made a little bit of a comeback yesterday. No great shakes, but at least they're a bit better off than they were after the first day in Centurion.
Yeah, well, the first test was very disappointing. I think yesterday, they showed very good signs. I think I can mention 3 players, Dean Elgar, Faf, as well as AB. I mean, they played well. Even Faf made, a new world record. 50 runs in 12 successive tests. That's an achievement. I think credit must also go to our captain. I mean, we won the toss and we decided to bat first.
Yeah.
As compared to, in the first test, he did the opposite.
Yeah.
We won the toss, but he let the Australian bat, and I think it was a very bad decision. I think, there's a lot of hope in this second test.
Yeah, absolutely. So today, with 214 for 5, we should bat on to about 400, hopefully, with AB getting 100, and then we'd be in position to get a good result. Like
I said, I mean, with Faf and AB still, playing, I think we should make a respectable, scoreline, and you know what, we've got hope that we will bounce back and make it 1-1 in the series.
Well, we hope so, but let's move on to matters a little bit more important. Football. The Nedbank Cup was launched this week, and there are quite a few matches going on the weekend. Which are your picks of the weekend, and how do you see it go?
Well, I think the Nedbank Cup, what makes it more interesting, South Africa's FA Cup, it gives so-called smaller teams an opportunity to play against so-called big guns. And we've seen in the history of the competition a lot of surprises, Probably the peak of the weekend should be Ajax against Sundowns tonight. I mean, we saw Ajax, they announced Roger Disa as their new coach, so he'll be making his debut for Ajax Cape Town tonight, and hopefully that doesn't become baptism of fire.
Yeah, hopefully not. The thing that I like about this competition, and every year does the same, is that, the little teams from nowhere, they come and they really make a name for themselves, and they beat the big teams. And also you get the lopsided results where you get a 10-0 or something like that. And that's really what sets this competition apart, doesn't it? And I'm sure it'll be no different this year. Yeah,
I mean, it's an opportunity for so-called, semi-professional teams to make at least an extra cent, And at the same time, not only that, but this is a competition that, the winners go and represent South Africa in the Confederations Cup. So it's not only the purse that comes with the competition, but it also gives South African teams exposure in the African continent. Yeah. But who can forget the likes of Baroka FC, beating Kaizer Chiefs, as well as Maluti FC, beating Orlando Pirates. So, we can expect anything. Tomorrow, Pirates, which are not playing so well, they are coming up against Thunder Royal Zulu. Yeah. That's another interesting match. And on Sunday, Black Leopards, a team that played in the PSL.
On Pirates now. You're talking about these small teams. Please, man. Not this year. We've suffered enough.
No, but Pirates, their performance, Eben, both of us, we know they are not playing well. And I was listening to the Thunder Royal Zulu coach last night. He's saying, this is an opportunity to put one.
You see, these guys they must be taught a lesson. You come and be saying, we are favourites starting against Pirates. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, no, he's saying, this is the opportunity for them to, beat Pirates and advance to the last 16, because Pirates, they are at their all-time low.
I think so too. Anyhow, let's move on to rugby, Sifi. So, Super 15 rugby is underway. We had a good start in South Africa. 3 more big derbies for South African teams this weekend. Should be interesting.
Well, tonight we've got a big game, the Cheetahs against the Bulls, which both lost their opening matches. So it will be a very interesting match to see who wins that one. Then tomorrow we've got the Stormers against the Lions.
Yeah, in Johannesburg.
The Lions, they are making a comeback, remember. And as we've got the Sharks, who will be hosting the Hurricanes. Yeah. So, I mean, I think under Jake White, a lot will be expected from the Sharks, to go all the way and make a very good impression in the competition.
Yeah, I think the Sharks are one of the favourite teams, definitely in the competition. Finally, I wanted to move on to a bit of golf, because it looks like the South African players are playing well at the World Match Play. Ernie Els scored a big victory yesterday. Louis Oosthuizen also beat Hendrik Stenson, who's probably one of the top names in the world of golf right now.
We had 5 South Africans who were playing in the last 32. And at the moment, we've got 3 who proceeded to the last 32.
16.
Last 16, sorry. And you mentioned George Coetzee. He beat the number 3 ranked Hendrik Stenson, and I think that's a very big, achievement. And we know the competition finishes on Sunday. I mean, we're expecting a lot from the likes of Louis Oosthuizen as well as any else.
Yeah, it's nice to see Louis Oosthuizen play well again. He's been battling back injuries and all sort of stuff for the last year, so he should be back and playing well, and also anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot is expected from the 3 South Africans that made it to the last 16 of the competition.
Well, Sifiso, thank you for joining us this morning, giving us a little insight into what will be another busy sporting weekend. I'm sure you'll be quite busy as well this weekend. Thank you. Let's take a quick look at what you are talking about on social media before we go to a break. Of course, at SABC Newsroom is where it is. Shan Mugan says, AB is the first man to achieve 12 50-plus scores in tests continuously. SA versus Oz. Well, that's a little bit of useless information. Muchaba Ibrahim says, amazing recovery by the Proteas. De Villiers is absolutely brilliant. Currently the best batsman in the world, undoubtedly. I would say by quite a long way, actually, after that terrific performance on a dodgy wicket in Centurion. Amla has flopped in his last 7 innings. When was the last time this happened? Long time ago. I hope you're not asking for him to be dropped, because that would be a little bit harsh. Varun says, 2 crucial wickets at the end of the day's play shifted the balance from SA to Oz. 350 is a must. Yes, Varun, absolutely. They must get 350 to do. Alex says, come on, Proteas, today needs to be different. This is not how the #1 team in the world should be playing cricket. Well, they're playing against a very good side, my dear. A very good side, actually. Give credit to the Aussies. They're a good side. We're going to take a short commercial break. Are you a loudmouth golfer? You talk a lot. Well, we've got just the tonic for you after a short break.
How do you think he actually works?
Get fully installed fixed-line broadband with modem and turn your home into a Wi-Fi hotspot. That's 5 gigs data plus 5 gigs promo data for just $3.99, including ADSL and line rental. Plus, you'll also get a free 3G dongle with 200 megabytes mobile data a month and loads more benefits for your new connected home. Rethink fixed broadband. Call, click, go to a Telkom store.
Zimbabwe faces its worst food shortage in 4 years. Tens of thousands have begun receiving food aid.
Finally, some help to stave off hunger for at least another month. Cattle ranching Rishavane is the worst affected.
Trade and Industry Minister Rob Davies says he can confirm that South Africa remains open for business.
The bill will confirm that South Africa remains open to foreign investment.
Egerton is showing his hand in preparation of the Chan tournament in January.
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
President Jacob Zuma has defended his government's performance in delivering services to the people. Replying in Parliament after his State of the Nation address was debated, the President insists that his government has done much more to change people's lives. Mineral Resources Minister Susan Shabangu will today conduct a site visit to the closed gold mine shaft in Benoni, from which miners were rescued last weekend. She will also meet with a Gauteng Illegal Mining Multi-Stakeholder Forum to get an update on efforts made to deal with illegal mining. The department, working with law enforcement agencies and other stakeholders, has intensified measures to curb illegal mining in the Gauteng province. And in cricket, the Proteas produced a better performance with the bat on day 1 of the second test against Australia, who already enjoy a 1-1 series lead. Dean Elgar, who opened the batting in place of an ill Alvaro Peterson, top scored for the hosts as South Africa were 214 for the loss of 5 wickets at the close of play at St George's Park. Now, if you're tired of looking like everyone else, have a look at this. Loudmouth Golf is recognized as a leading brand in outrageous and fun golf attire for both men and women. Khakis for golf weren't going to cut it for Loudmouth founder Scott Woodworth, who took golf attire into his own hands, literally. He found some fabric with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and made himself a pair of golf pants. When guys started coming up to him, asking him how they could get a pair, he realized there was a hidden desire on the golf course to play it loud, as they say. In studio today, we have the team from Loudmouth Golfing. Show us a picture. Look at that. We have the team from Loudmouth Golfing here in South Africa. Marco Rodriguez, Director, thank you, and your team. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Marco, tell us about this. It's very colourful, but I'm sure that the traditionalists, they must be giving you some issues in South Africa.
Look, I'd say we've shaken the tree a little bit, so to speak. Traditionalists with their khaki pants and hanging over the shoes ever so... Yes, don't cut it for me. It's tired khakis 10 years ago. This is the new age, guys. When the average golfer's handicap is 15, why do you want to go make your life more stressful wearing khaki pants? I mean, terrible.
Tell me, you're a serious golfer, obviously.
Well, I'm the unserious one. I do the trick shot shows, and of course I'm the village idiot. So
the village idiot.
I'm perfect for the brand.
Oh no, you're perfect for the brand. You're living it. You're absolutely living the brand. But tell us about the reception that you get at your shows, and when you're out, when you dressed like what the traditional golfers would say, you look a bit like a clown.
Well, this is not for the faint-hearted. It's not one of those that you go in shopping centres without catching a couple of glances. Most certainly it's for the guy who's trying to express himself a little bit more, also the ladies as well. It's expressive clothing. So, you want to be loud. You've got to be loud.
Yeah.
And that's what the brand's all about. It's not for the sissy. And the traditionalists, the guys are starting to move in the direction that it's really taken off, and particularly the South African market's looking good in it.
Tell us about how it's been received amongst the ladies. I see you wearing a very... it's a little bit conservative today, isn't it? I thought you were going to come in the short hot pants and the real summer look. No?
It is a little bit, but the pants make more of an impression than the skirts did. So I wanted to show off a little bit of pants.
And what are the ladies saying about the brand? They're wearing it? On the golf course?
Personally, I think the ladies love it, and the thing is you can dress it up and you can dress it down, you can wear it to the office, you can, and it's better than not walking into anyone else wearing the same as you.
Tell us about the response here in South Africa, Marco. I know that South African golfers are quite loud by nature. If you've been to any golf course, you'll get you'll get the odd chirp.
Sure. Look, there's been a radical response, to be quite honest. It's certainly got to a stage where the fashionista out there have slowly started to stick their heads out of their little holes that they've been holding on. And it's a nice way for people to get out there and express yourself. Yeah. Be colourful. Be who you are, man.
John Daly, that's the look that you're channeling here today.
For sure.
Is that the hero? Is that the guy we're living up to?
When they came to, obviously, when the company was growing, that everyone put their names together and they said, who are we going to sponsor to get this brand out there? And everyone thought of John Daly. The guy is...
The wild thing.
Exactly. Wild thing just lives loud. So yes, we all sort of channeling him. We all want to live wild, get in touch with our inner child and just have fun out on the golf course. Life is just too short to wear boring clothes.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think I'm going to take you up and wear that pants on the golf course. But Marco, final word belongs to you. Tell us about Loudmouth Clothing, the future plans, and what you guys are going to do in South Africa in the year.
We're absolutely on an upward curve. This is our third year of operation, and we've started to roll out into the on-course pro shops and so on. And my vision, obviously, going forward is I want every single person out there, not only golfers, to be wearing Loudmouth. Everyone's got to own a pair of Loudmouth clothing, whether it be board shorts, or golfing attire, whatever the case may be. We certainly want to get the brand out there and live it loud. Grow that Loudmouth nation.
Live it loud. I love it. I'm actually going to ask you next week to put some trick shots for us on our Twitter page, because that would really be interesting for our guys to watch as well.
Dressing it properly loud as well.
Fantastic. But thank you for joining us today, guys. Looking brilliant. And all the best with Loudmouth Clothing. I know that is going to do very well in South Africa, because South African golfers, they're quite loud. That's where we are going to wrap it, of course, today. The show is broadcast live from Johannesburg here in South Africa, and it is done between 9 and 10 every morning. Highlights repeated at 2 in the afternoon, rebroadcast 5 a.m. the following morning. We also stream live on YouTube between 9 and 10 every morning, and the entire show is available throughout the day. You're watching SABC News. This is Newsroom, where we love it in the morning. Of course, after this, Richard Newton will do Armed Forces Day from Bloemfontein.
to Your World on DSTV channel 404. Let's take a look at stories making headlines.
Unfortunately, most of the deaths occur in children in sub-Saharan Africa. And so the original focus and the continued focus of this vaccine is on preventing that disease and death.
What happens when you stop by an official who turns out to be, well, the president?
We're checking license.
Okay.
Is it fine and valid?
This stand is the biggest stand in Nairobi show. Of course, we have won the best foreign private